have the Ayatollah of fantasy rock and roller with us today, Adam Rank. How you doing, Rank?
They look great in person, and I just can't wait to next year where we can pack it full of 25,000.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I didn't know it was Ball Guys Day. It was being ranked. I mean, how do you lose?
This is the Dynasty Vipers Vipercast.
And welcome back to the Dynasty Vipers Vipercast. This is episode 114, give or take. You know what? I really should write this down so we have an actual kind of history of where this show has gone. But you know what? We're up to bigger and better things each and every episode. And as always, we are brought to you by Fantasy Points Media Group. Head over to thefantasypoints.com and guess what? Enter promo code VIPERS22 and get yourself 10% off that subscription today. One of the best bang for your buck websites out there right now. And heck, you can see a lot of Major down there as he does a little bit of something there on Sundays with Nick Script. Major, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. Still trying to recover from Super Bowl weekend, but yeah, I'm feeling all right.
So who recovers from the Super Bowl hangover first? Will it be Major or will it be the Cincinnati Bengals?
Maybe the Bengals.
Bengals.
I'm too old for this, man. I can't hang with these young guys anymore.
Yeah, so I know we've got our mock draft coming a little bit later here, so we'll let you kind of recover. We'll give you a little bit of a 30-minute break in between the segments here so you can kind of recover and get that voice back. I know you're struggling. The water, you need to get all those vitamins in there. And what were you doing there at the Super Bowl? Because I know you're a part of that, and you're out there doing your thing with all those young bucks out there. What was your impact towards the Super Bowl?
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Chad Copeland, his brother plays for the Atlanta Falcons, Brandon Copeland, and he's in the financial space and he's in the podcast space. So I was like pretty much follow him around, doing a little behind the scenes with him. I actually should be editing that video right now, but I'm here doing the God's work right now, you know.
And that's why we love you. And Tara, we're about to mock draft, and every single time we do a mock draft, whether it's in our best ball Viper drafts or whatever it is, you seem to pretty much dominate us every chance you get. First off, please take it easy on us this time. Second off, hey, welcome back once again. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I wish that mock drafting would carry over to real drafting. Maybe I just don't need to think, need to trust, like my instant instincts. But
Pressure, huh?
yeah, but I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Crazy life, busy, but staying strong. So happy to be here with you guys.
There you go.
Well, we are going to close the door on the 2021 season here. The Super Bowl has come to a conclusion. We're going to start focusing on the 2022 season. Hey, it's Dynasty. There is no off season when it comes to fantasy football. This is the best part of the season. We will all be diving into our rookie tapes, checking out the rookies, because we all love ourselves some rookie drafts. So there will be rookie drafts coming up on the Vipers Network. I guarantee you that. Tonight's show, we are going to do a Dynasty startup with rookies. Get ready for that coming up here in about 30 minutes or so. But hey, before we move on, let's recap the Super Bowl, because there's some pretty important stories out there that have potential fantasy impacts moving forward. Starting off there, Tara, Sean McVay, youngest coach ever to win the Super Bowl. Hey, Sean, are you coming back? We'll see. What's your take on that?
That's a joke. I can't fathom that he's so good at it. I mean, I can't fathom that he would just want to call it quits at this point. When you've got guys like Bruce Arians that are sitting there winning. Now, granted, that's, the support of Tom Brady, but winning Super Bowls at a little bit more seasoned age. So, I mean, McVay has years to come. And honestly, he's got Stafford there. He's got Kupp. He's got, we'll see if he has Odell, Robert Woods, everybody. I mean, it's a whole crew. Why not come back and just continue to run it back as long as you can?
You know what? They may or may not have Odell there, Tara. I know we're going to stick with you on this one because you are the Odell Beckham Jr. truther here, especially on this show. I'm the hater. I got no problems because he's so easy. He was the number 2 receiver for the Rams down the back stretch here. Pause for applause. No, nothing coming. All right.
Nothing at all.
Where's the sound effect?
I wasn't doing any sound effect for that.
Beckham Jr.'s future in the NFL and Odell Beckham's future with the Rams. Are they coexisting, or are we going to see it kind of separate here a little bit? And we watched the Super Bowl. If he wouldn't have gone down with an injury, I think this game could have taken on a totally different meaning a lot earlier because Odell Beckham Jr. was having his way with that Bengals secondary. Tara, what say you?
I think he comes back. I think at this point, Odell, he's had the time period where he was superstar wide receiver, top in the league. And then he's gone over and he's taken the peg, gone to a situation where it wasn't ideal, made him look like he was washed. And now he's over here experiencing kind of the rehabilitation of his career at this point, showcasing that he's still Odell. Don't forget about Odell. He's still Odell. In my opinion, I think we see him not concerned about the money, and probably the ACL, unfortunately, maybe took away that ability to kind of go out and search for a bigger payday coming off of this little resurgence right here. I think we see him back with LA. I don't think he's going to be looking for anything unreasonable in terms of contract from them. And, we know how Sean McVay is. The Rams, they want every single piece that they can possibly have. And they don't care what it's going to take. They kind of take a fantasy football approach to football, and I kind of love that. So in my opinion, he'll stay. And, once Odell went down, I guess I'll jump into this later, but once Odell went down, it kind of made it obvious that he is kind of a necessity within the team. We didn't see anyone that was able to step up to his level. So unless you want to roll with exclusively Cooper Kupp and then cross your fingers, everything comes back good with Robert Woods, I think Odell's going to be sticking around.
That is going to be – we talked about the Rams already had one of the best trio wide receivers, and that was not even including Robert Woods. We were talking about that with Van Jefferson. So you bring Bobby Trees back, USC alumni. This Rams offense, Cam Akers, gets another couple months to rehab. This could be scary. And I know everyone's already sick and tired of hearing the Matthew Stafford. Is he not a Hall of Famer? You give him these weapons back and another run at it, I mean, it may eliminate all doubt in your mind, even for Richard Sherman. Now, everyone's asked, hey, Matt, what can we talk about to forget about Matthew Stafford's claim to the Hall of Fame? We can always talk about Joe Burrow losing the Super Bowl in the second season and compare him to Dan Marino. That's a possibility, right? We could go there. Major? No?
Way too soon.
No, way too soon. So, speaking of way too soon there, Major, halftime show. Hey, you're the music guy. You're in La La Land. First off, Odell Beckham Jr. being in Los Angeles, he's kind of forgotten about as opposed to where he was in New York, where front and center all the time. He kind of blends into the scene there in Los Angeles. So that's probably why it fits him so well that he can kind of go under the radar as much as Odell Beckham Jr. go under the radar. This halftime show, for me, top 5 Super Bowl halftime show all time. Sorry, it's not going to pass Prince. It's not going to pass Michael Jackson for me. But Major, rank it. Where is it for you?
I think you may have gotten one right. I have it in a top 5. I don't know exactly where. I'm the biggest Prince fan ever, so he's for sure number 1. MJ's coming right behind that. I really liked what Beyonce did when she Destiny Child popped out. That was a big moment. And I think I have Dr. Dre, and I think they're like right there. And then there was another one with like Stevie Wonder. Whenever Stevie Wonder's doing something, I have to go with that one. It was like Gloria Estefan and Stevie Wonder and a litany of other people. So I think it is a top 5. To me, the set kind of messed it up a little bit. That set was a little lackluster. I think Kendrick Lamar like killed it. Who else did? And Snoop is just like the coolest person ever in the world. Like, just him, just seeing how happy he was being on the stage and dancing, and just like he was having fun. I don't think he even knew the words to the song or whatever. He was just up there having a great time, and that's why I love Snoop, because he's just him all the time. He can't turn it off.
Mary J. Blige, she went out there, did her thing. 50 Cent was hanging upside down like he was looking for his phone charger coming out of his bed. Hey, you know what? We need to stop. We need to stop shaming 50 Cent.
I was about to go there.
I mean, he's like 46 years old.
Yeah.
And if I looked like him, I'd be happy about myself. If I hung upside down for a song, I would be passed out. Let's call it the way it is. I'm going down. Okay. So let's put a little respect. And let's talk about some social aspect to this all. Eminem takes a knee. Do you think maybe his knees and arms were kind of weak and heavy? Is that maybe why?
I think he was trying to make a statement. It's something you can appreciate, but it kind of, I missed it when it happened. So I think the network kind of cut away from it. But I've seen it afterwards, obviously, but during, I didn't catch it.
So he did, I think, because I missed it too, but I think he did it right as Dre started playing the piano. And that might have been, that's why I missed it, because he started playing the piano. I'm just like, oh my God, Dre. And I'm just like, your eyes tilt over towards it. And so I just missed Eminem at that moment completely. But I'll take a contrary opinion to you guys. This was number one for me, this halftime show. I'm a very, you got to think about my age. I'm a very specific millennial. I'm right in that perfect age of where all of this hit exactly all the things that I love. So just every single
Prince,
piece.
though, Tara. I said Prince.
But this is the best combination. It hit every single thing for me. I did kind of I was kind of oh, that was cool. That was nice of them to throw 50 a little bone and let them go. I feel like somebody else could have contributed a little bit more to the show.
Fun fact. I ran into 50 Cent in the Intercontinental Hotel where all the players, and I ran into so many Hall of Famers and stuff. I bumped into Bruce Smith, and he's built like a tree. I bounced off of Bruce Smith. That was a dope moment. But I'm getting out the elevator going one way. 50 Cent's coming out the elevator, and me and the crew were with. I'm like, you know what? I think he's going to be the special guest, because no one knew 50 was going to be there. So I knew before everyone else because I was at the hotel. So that was pretty cool running into him.
And yet we couldn't get the exclusive. Come on,
I was working, man. Next year when we are there, it's all us. I was working somebody else's thing, so I couldn't really work on their dime,
I mean, the Eminem, the taking the knee there, that's going to be an iconic moment. I mean, it's the Pepsi halftime show. Michael Jackson made it the Pepsi halftime show. That's where the Pepsi halftime show came from. And there's no way, I'm sorry, anyone who's not a big Prince fan, there's no way you could top Purple Rain in a downpour at the Super Bowl. He's literally singing about Purple Rain, and it's pouring down on him. The moment made that Super Bowl. It wasn't the fact that Prince did the Super Bowl. It was the monsoon there, Indianapolis, Chicago, that Super Bowl there. And all of a sudden it starts raining. He's playing Purple Rain, and that's what did it for me there. But hey,
you're doing pretty good. You've been getting some stuff right lately, Matt. You've been studying. What's going on?
Of course not.
I'm about to say, I'm about to get really upset if you're really studying and Googling.
No. I just Googled it and just kind of plagiarized from there. Speaking of from there, Major, where we talked about your Super Bowl hangover. We know that the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. We've seen it in all professional sports. Getting that championship game, losing it, and it seems to be difficult to get back. I mean, we've seen teams do it like the Buffalo Bills. Sorry to bring that up for Buffalo fans right now, but it is hard to get back after all that emotion that went into getting there. Where do the Bengals go from here? Are they built to make another run next year? Or could we legitimately see, I don't want to say it, but Joe Burrow, could he turn into the Dan Marino, gets there in the second year and maybe doesn't get another opportunity?
I think their window is now. I mean, when is his contract due? Is it 2 years, 3 maybe? So they need to go to free agency or the draft and go straight O-line, maybe grab a DB in there but they need to protect this guy. And I don't think they're going to, like we were saying all during the playoffs, I don't think they really understood the gravity of that situation, So I don't think they're going to I think this is going to make them hungrier with people with attitudes. Their whole team, or their leaders, I should say, have a lot of attitude, man. Like Joe Burrow is all attitude. Jamar Chase is all attitude. These guys are, I think they're built a little bit different. They're used to winning, they've been winning their whole life. So this is this is something new for them, and I think they're going to try to overcome it. But if they can get that offensive line together, and I think they might take a little clue from the Rams and go and try to snag some of these higher end players. They have, they're going to have the cat. They don't have to pay their quarterback. So when you don't have to pay your quarterback, that's your opportunity to like go out for this win.
$66 million is what they have for cap for the Cincinnati Bengals. They got a little bit of money to be thrown around to the free agency pool this year, and they don't have a lot of needs outside of that offensive line. And we speak that offensive line. We watched them get absolutely hammered by Tennessee. They did a better job against Kansas City. Everyone wants to say that they did a good job in the first half against the Rams. The Rams did not blitz in the first half. Right. Let's call it the way it is. Second half, the Rams like, okay, now we're coming. 7 sacks is what they put up in that second half. Aaron Donald had 2 of them. Von Miller had 2 of them. Aaron Donald going like this, asking for that ring, and then asked after the game, are you retiring? No, I just want to be in the moment right now. I just want to be kind of dodging. I get it. He wants to be in the moment. Leave the guy alone. Let him enjoy everything that's going on, Major, right? You agree with this?
Why does everyone have to retire after the game? I don't. When did that start being a thing?
Major, what does Aaron Donald have left to prove?
To make money. Like he plays for, like okay, guys, I know we're all fans, but let's stop. Fans. Players don't care about the legacy and all. That's us. They care about making money for their families. This is what this is. They're not going out there beating their heads into the ground, running the brick walls to for a legacy. Like maybe a few players, but 99% of these players are out here to make money. And after winning the championship, you're going to make a lot more money, or you're going to eventually make a lot more money because you're a champion. So wherever you go, you're going to take that tag with you. So we got to stop with the whole they're doing this stuff for the glory of the game. No, they're making money. It's a business.
I mean, he's already established a legacy. Can you name 3 better defensive tackles in the National Football League history? Can you name 3 better that did what Aaron Donald does?
Not Warren Sapp.
We're talking defensive player of the year. You're talking about all pro. You're talking about Super Bowl champ. You're talking about one of the most dominating players at his position, leading the league in sacks at the defensive tackle position. I mean, easily top 5, probably within the top 3, and you could probably make an argument that he's number 1 already based on a short period of work here. Now, kudos to the Rams PR team getting down to the field, hitting up Van Jefferson and be like, hey, dude, your wife's having a baby right now. You got to leave. Does Van Jefferson name his first child Cooper?
No.
She said
no. I don't think so.
I mean, I think the reports were she was there for at least half the game. I think she made it into the third quarter, and then she had to be ushered off there. He had no clue she was gone.
Wow.
And then the PR comes down and goes, yeah, your wife's in labor. She's at the hospital. And you see the video. He's with his other 2 kids. They're enjoying the moment. The kids are like, why are we going? Well, mommy's having your brother. So they just watch the kids. The kids are like, we don't want to leave. We want to be here. Which brings me up to I really need to know who's watching his kids while his wife went into the hospital at the Super Bowl still. These are questions I have. I have more questions than I have answers.
Another question is don't they have a hospital inside the stadium? That stadium is the greatest stadium ever. There should be a hospital and everything else in there. It should have a ICU or wherever you have babies.
Well, they probably used the baby room for 50 cents change room during the Super Bowl. So they probably didn't really have him booked in there.
Go in.
Slid him. Now, my Super Bowl reaction here is I'm happy for those old guys there. We always take a shot at players who've played so long that never get that opportunity to get that ring. Matthew Stafford, one of the top 5 players in the National Football League, never to win a Super Bowl. Andrew Whitworth, same thing. Games played, no Super Bowl. Eric Weddle, same guy. Another guy played a lot of his time with the San Diego Chargers there. Grew up in that system. Wins one with the Los Angeles Rams. Kind of a bit of a homecoming, so to speak there. Wins that championship in California. These are guys that I'm incredibly happy for getting that opportunity.
OBJ? You just left OBJ out, man. What's going on?
OBJ, I think, still had some few more years.
You got to stop being a hater now.
It's the disrespect has to stop, Matt.
He's a champion now, Matt. Come on. You have to stop hating on him.
he played like a quarter and a half. You don't get full credit there. Even
Would
Eric
they?
Weddle
Go ahead,
played a
Tara.
full
Would they
game with a
have
torn
even
pec.
would
Get 'em,
have
Tara.
even gotten there if they were rolling with if everything exclusively had to be on Cooper Kupp and they're rolling there with Ben Skowronek? Were they gonna?
Dude.
Come
And the best part is
Come on.
everyone's giving crap to Matthew Stafford for those interceptions. The first interception, he kind of threw it out there to Van Jefferson, and Van Jefferson kept fading back. He didn't even go up for it. He like jumped
He
back.
lobbed it out there. Nobody. Sorry.
The second interception, it literally hit Skowronek or whatever his name, Skowronek, right in the hands over the middle. And everyone's like, oh, Matthew Stafford threw 2 interceptions. Skowronek should have had the, anyway, you know what? We're not going to get there. Tara, favorite moment of the Super Bowl? Since Odell Beckham Jr. had to leave, someone had to step up in your eye. And what was that reaction for you? And who was that player? And what was that moment?
Yeah, there wasn't a specific moment, although I guess I technically could say like the no-look pass, some pretty impressive. But, overall for me, it wasn't a specific moment. It was the way that Cooper Kupp sat there and literally put the team on his back. We just talked about it. There was no contribution from any other receiver. I mean, the most contributing receiver beyond him was probably Darrell Henderson at that point. It was just amazing to see him, and congrats to Aaron for the MVP, but it was amazing to see Kupp get what he deserved because I think he had a very MVP worthy career or season as a whole. Impressive. And for him to come here and literally sit here and be the primary reason they sat here and won the Super Bowl, it was great. It was great to see.
I mean, it takes 2 to tango. Can we please put some respect on Matthew Stafford? He literally had no one else to throw to.
Him.
And
I'm not disrespecting him, but
if Patrick
Kupp,
Mahomes makes that throw, if Patrick Mahomes does that throw, we are talking about it all off season. Let's call it the way it is. Matthew Stafford does it. We've already forgotten he threw a no-look pass. We're not even talking like the disrespect on Matty Stafford. Come on, man.
You did. She gave love to the no look. I thought. Yeah,
I did. Yeah,
She did. I know she.
But it's Cooper Kupp. I mean, this Stafford. It was great. But this was literally the most epic season from a wide receiver like ever. And then he sat here and did this in the Super Bowl. Even sitting there and carrying the ball to get the first, come on, Cooper Kupp.
It's like high school football there, Major. When you can run the ball and the other team knows you're going to run the ball and they can't do a damn thing about it, that's what Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp had. Everyone knew that was the only thing the Rams could do. They couldn't run the ball. You couldn't throw it to anyone else. You knew it was going to Cooper Kupp, and you could not stop it.
Yeah, I think he was double teamed the whole time as well when he was making all those plays.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he got a couple times where he was on Eli Apple, and that was, let's call it the way it is. That was a rotten apple there, the corner.
So
but
it was a no team right there that getting covered by Eli Apple.
So disrespectful.
Me? I'm not disrespectful. Wait for my next comment here. Major, what's
the things Eli Apple has said are disrespectful.
Exactly. Major, what's your favorite moment from the Super Bowl?
My favorite is how the game ended. Aaron Darnold winning the game with a walk. I guess it really wasn't a sack because he got the ball off, but I'm going to give him that sack to kind of win the game. Like that was a big moment. Same thing like Cooper Kupp did on offense. Aaron did it on defense. Like that whole drive, he was that whole drive. I think he hit a quarterback. No, he hit the quarterback once, right? Stopped the run. Something else happened, had another play. And if he didn't get that sack, it was probably going to be a touchdown. Because if you guys really looked at the replays and everything, Jamar Chase got open. What's his name? Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
Ramsey, I don't know if he slipped or got like the ankles broken, but he was
a face mask or something.
A second one, right? But he was stumbling out the thing, and Jamar Chase was open. So if Joe Burrow had enough time, it would have been a touchdown. So I think he really saved that whole thing with that last play.
Yeah, even with a couple of sacks there, David Long, he stepped up. He made a great play and making Burrow pull that ball down. For me, here we go. We're going to talk about some Eli Apple disrespect. My favorite Super Bowl moment came after the Super Bowl. It was a little bit of a troll job by Nicole Hardman, kind of tweeting Eli Apple pictures of his Super Bowl ring. Hey, I love myself some pettiness. I'm all about this. Hey, Nicole Hardman, he did play a role in the Chiefs winning that Super Bowl a couple years ago. He had a couple moments in there. So we'll let Nicole Hardman troll Eli Apple a little bit. Eli Apple, he wants to run his mouth. Saints fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Hey, he had exactly what he had coming. Sorry, Bengals fans, that you had to suffer through that. But yeah, let's talk about Cooper Kupp here a second. Triple Crown, Offensive Player of the Year, Super Bowl MVP. Only one player has that accomplishment, and it was Jerry Rice, and it took him over the course of his career to accomplish that. Cooper Kupp did this in one season. Let that sink in. What Jerry Rice accomplished in a career, as far as accolades are concerned, I'm not going to go with the yardage here and stuff like that.
Are we comparing him to Jerry Rice right now? Are we going to do
I'm comparing
that?
his accolades to Jerry Rice.
We don't have time.
I know that's
we got a lot of show sheet to get to.
That's a
We got
show.
a whole show sheet to get to. But I'm saying he did all these things. The Triple Crown. There's only a couple people who've done that, period, right? He did all this in one season with Matthew
Question
Stafford.
for you guys, real quick. Is it scheme or is it Cooper? Which one is it?
Well, I'm going to say that the two best wide receiver seasons ever recorded have one common denominator. Calvin Johnson, Cooper Kupp. Just going to throw that out there. Let you guys kind of fill the dots in there.
This guy's on the band. This guy's driving that bandwagon right
Very
now.
much in love. Very much in love.
Valentine just passed, so I'm pretty sure you got him some flowers or something.
Well, we're almost 30 minutes into the show, and we've got 8 more topics to get to.
Yeah,
it's pretty typical of our show.
So, biggest surprise, Tara. What was the biggest surprise for you in this Super Bowl? Was there any surprises?
Yeah, biggest surprise for me was I was not really surprised, but maybe others. Don't forget that T. Higgins is an alpha. Okay, please don't let the Jamar Chase dominance fool you into thinking that he's anything other than a fantastic athlete who is going to be someone that you want to have in Dynasty for years to come. 4 of 7, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Come on now.
What school do you go to?
Clemson.
There we go.
I hate how she has it perfectly. She never covers it up. She never's off the camera. She's always like, ding.
It was perfect. I wasn't even looking at the screen.
I know. That's why I hate it.
And what's even more impressive, you're just listening to us on Apple, Stitcher, whatever the podcast platform. You know how hard it is to get your hand right, which way you want to point? It's like bang. It's everything right there. She knows what hand to go. I'm even using the wrong hand right now as I'm showing this.
Everyone think Matthew Stafford no look was the shit. Look at Tara and her no look
my no look rep.
No look college alumni shout out.
So Major, for you, biggest surprise in the Super Bowl.
I know you're gonna hate this one, but the Rams find a way to overcome 2 big turnovers. The second one I give you a little credit, but why are you even throwing it to a guy that name is Ben Strada? No one knows his name. That first one, he just kind of lobbed that thing up there. So I don't know. But 2 turnovers in the Super Bowl usually does not end well, and they found a way to overcome that. So kudos to the squad.
And I'm right lockstepping with you. I'm old. I still believe the way to win playoff football is play good defense, don't turn over the ball, and run the ball. Well, they played good defense, but they turned the ball over, and they could not run the ball. And yet they were still able to win even after Odell Beckham Jr. went out. I mean, there was no passing game. As Tara mentioned, it was Cooper Kupp. And even Cooper Kupp disappeared until the fourth quarter. They were not able to scheme ways to get Cooper Kupp involved. It went back and forth. It was kind of a bland kind of game at that point there for at least half the game. The second and third quarter was like, eh. But for me, that was the biggest surprise of the Rams. Like you said, they were able to overcome those 2 turnovers. They were able to overcome a lack of a run game. And here we are. And then as we talk about biggest surprises, what's one of the biggest letdowns for you, Tara, in the Super Bowl?
Well, we are a Dynasty podcast, so I'm going to say Van Jefferson. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people were holding on to hope, and looking at him as maybe somebody who could make that Darnell Mooney kind of jump. And I don't know if it's there. I think we might have overestimated a little bit on Van Jefferson. He really didn't step up. I would have expected more in this big moment when Odell went down.
Remember when the Rams had Deshaun Jackson? Everyone's like, "Oh no, Van Jefferson's value shot." And then all of a sudden, they're like, then they got rid of Deshaun Jackson. I was like, "Yeah, Van Jefferson." And then Odell Beckham came. They're like, "Oh no, not Odell Beckham." And then Robert Woods got hurt. They're like, "Yeah, Robert Woods got hurt." What can we do with Van Jefferson next year? Because assuming that Odell
Mm.
Beckham Jr. is back, assuming Robert Woods is back, even with ACL injuries, there's not a lot of room for Van Jefferson in
Yeah.
this target share.
He plays better as like the fourth or fifth receiver, though. I think his numbers
Bingo.
are yeah, so he might be all right. Might be a good flex.
And then Major, what was your biggest letdown here in the Super Bowl?
Mine was I love like the story of Super Bowls and the arc that OBJ was. The story of OBJ was going to be the greatest, like being ridiculed, being kicked out the league, damn near come back, didn't have success, gets traded, performs well. If you look at his numbers and Cooper Kupp numbers during the whole playoffs, they're pretty similar touchdown wise, yardage wise. They were like block and step there. So at the beginning, he had the touchdown, he had the like 50-yard catch or whatever. He almost had like 100 yards and 2 catches. So he was going to have a really good game and possibly could have been an MVP. I would have loved that. I would have, like, haters like you, brains would exploded. That's all I was waiting for. All the haters' brains is just like exploding.
I love that Major and I are on the same like wavelength with Odell. And I just want to point out to those who are listening on podcasts, this is my truth. I don't know if this is the reason, but Matt just muted himself. And I think he had to mute himself to hold back the pain that was that he was suffering from.
He had something in his eye.
From Major speaking so positively about Odell.
Okay, we know that's not true. We know I don't have a filter. And when I mute myself, it's usually because something's coming out. But I will agree with you. What happened to Odell Beckham Jr. was pure crap, okay? So I'm with you guys on that one. Now, for me, the biggest letdown, it's got to be the Bengals here and their inability to capitalize on a depleted Rams offense. Stafford throwing those 2 picks. I mean, this was the big – I thought once Beckham Jr. went down and we've seen that the Rams couldn't run the ball and that offense was sputtering all over, that was the time for the Bengals to strike. And that's also coincidentally the same time the Rams turned it up on defense with that front, getting that pressure on Joe Burrow as well. So I really thought when Beckham Jr. went down, I will give him his due here. That was the point where I thought the Bengals were going to get in the driver's seat because there was no stopping Odell Beckham Jr. at that point. There was no one that could cover him. Zero. They were going single man coverage on Odell Beckham Jr. And there's no one on that Bengals team that could cover him one-on-one with Awuzie on Cooper Kupp with help, right? So that was a killer there for the Bengals not being able to take advantage of that. So we've kind of gone over this Super Bowl here. I want to kind of pick your brains because I like to get a little nostalgic here from time to time. Tara, I remember listening to one of your stories here on another podcast you were doing about the squares and winning a little cash there. Brett Favre Super Bowl, Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. I can't even remember what it was. Like in Arizona. I think that Super Bowl was in Arizona. I can't remember exactly. But what is your first Super Bowl you remember watching live? Now, I know you guys are probably like me. You've probably watched every Super Bowl at some point, kind of catching back up. But there's always that first one you're live, 5, 6, 7 years old. Tara, what was that game for you?
Yeah, that was it for me. You nailed it. I unfortunately, if you know one thing about me, like my memory truly doesn't kick in until like 8 or 9. So like so that was the first one.
She's like
the story.
20 and she's like, oh, that's my first memory.
Like legitimately, like it's a little shoddy. But yeah, that Super Bowl 32, Packers losing to the Broncos. But it's what made me a Packers fan. And it also, I don't talk about it a lot, but I can't stand John Elway. And that was it right there. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Major, over to you here.
Yeah. This was a hard question, like way harder than I thought it was going to be. But I want to say it was the 49ers against Miami. Was it Miami with the catch? With whatever. I thought I just watched the highlights so many times. I just made it a memory, but I was too young for that one. So I went with the next one that I remember, and that was the Bears versus the Pats, Super Bowl 20. The Bears won 46-10. All I remember was Refrigerator Perry scoring that touchdown, and it gave birth to like one of the greatest rap songs of all time, the Super Bowl Shuffle. If you guys don't know about that, please pause the show. Actually, go on a break, and then listen to the Super Bowl Shuffle on YouTube or something, man. It's one of the greatest things you will ever see in your life.
And the first game for me that I can remember in its entirety was the 49ers versus the Bengals back in 1988. Super Bowl took off in what, 89 when the actual game took place. I think I was about 5 years old. The 49ers, they got their ball on their 8-yard line. Sorry, Bengals fans, to keep rubbing salt in. Maybe this is just a trend I'm getting at. Maybe I'm just a jerk to begin with, because everything seems to be kind
We
of
already know that.
3 minutes and 10 seconds down the field, and it was John Taylor with the catch, not Jerry Rice, who caught a 14-yard touchdown earlier in that game. John Taylor, game-winning touchdown, 49ers, and that kind of really kickstarted it for me. And then, obviously, I watched a lot of other football and watched just about every Super Bowl multiple times, especially my Raiders Super Bowls. But, I mean, that was the first game I can remember from start to finish watching. Now, you may have not watched it live. You may not have been born when it happened, but every Super Bowl has that moment. We watched the San Antonio Holmes catch in the corner of the end zone against Arizona. We've seen all these moments. What is that most iconic moment, your favorite all-time Super Bowl moment, Tara?
For me, it's easy. It's the Eli Manning, David Tyree helmet catch. My favorite Manning is Eli, so I love those Eli beating the Patriots moments. So that's it for me.
You know what? I would have been right up there with you because I was always an anti-Brady fan. So when that happened, I was pretty excited. But I've kind of grown to love Tom Brady in Tampa. It was one of those things I'm like, you know what? This guy's not so bad. So I had to take that off the table for me. Major, what's that moment for you?
Mike Jones, not the rapper. He was a linebacker. Stopping Kevin Dyson on a 1-yard line to end the game on the final play of the game. Was it the Rams versus the Titans? That was one of my favorite. And I'm going to throw one more in there because this still is a mystery. But, like, how the hell you don't give Marshawn Lynch the ball on the 1-yard line? Like, come on, guys. Still.
Well, we've seen that Matthew Stafford could throw the ball from the 1, so it does work.
No. What about you, Matt?
2 of them for me. As a Raiders fan, this is me. I fell in love with the 70s Raiders, kept following the stories and stuff like that as I was trying to figure out where my fandom was going to take me. And I fell in love with those 70s teams and the characters and the stories and this and that. Then I got into those Super Bowl moments. And you can't talk about the history of the Super Bowl without Willie Brown, 75 yards down the sideline against the Minnesota Vikings, picking off Fran Tarkington. It is one of the most iconic images. Still gives me goosebumps. And I wasn't even born when it happened, right? So that for me is one of those moments etched in Super Bowl lore. And then for me, again, one of the ones I do remember, Marcus Allen, Washington Redskins, goes to the left, goes, yeah, no, that's not going to work. Swings back to the right and goes right up the middle. 75 yards, or was it 75? I can't remember. I think it was like 75 yards. Anyway, 191 rushing yards on that day. Absolutely phenomenal rush. And that's the Marcus Allen that we all knew. A little bit of this way, that way, and then boom, gone. Fantastic. One of those moments I'll never forget watching that in the replays and everything from there. Now, for me, those are 2 of the best Super Bowls ever. Just because, my homerism kind of probably plays a little bit of a factor in that. But where does this Super Bowl, where does the Rams knocking off the Cincinnati Bengals rank for you right now? Is this even better than when Mike Jones tackled Kevin Dyson? And I don't even think this is their best Super Bowl championship. Tara, for you, where's this game rank?
It's like
yeah, that's all right there
for me. Yeah, I feel like it should have been a lot more. We were robbed. This game was meant to be. Burrow carries them down. They obviously get it within Evan McPherson's range, which is incredible. And McPherson kicks it to send into overtime. That's where I felt we were heading. But we didn't.
It did have that. The way the Cardiac Cats said the Cincinnati Bengals, their postseason's gone. You were kind of expecting that to happen. It felt like it was going to happen. Major, your impressions?
Yeah, it was a slow start. But it was a good fourth quarter. Like I said, you had Cooper Kupp doing his thing with Matt Stafford. You had Joe Burrow coming back and going down the field as well. And then you had, one of the greatest defensive linemen make a big play at a big time. That's all you can ask for. But now that Tara said, I didn't even realize that. But yeah, that field goal would have took us to a whole different, would have unlocked the extra level for them.
And probably a little bit of controversy if whoever won the toss scored on the first drive.
Yeah, exactly.
This was it. This was the year. This was the change. I felt
I've
it.
always been a firm believer. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. But this game, it started off good until Odell Beckham Jr. went down. And then it seemed like both teams just sputtered. And we were stuck in some sort of purgatory, Super Bowl purgatory, waiting for something to happen, waiting for anything to cheer for. I had no dog in this fight. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I felt like that one meme, like with a stick poking. Do something. I'm watching this game on the bus, coming back from a hockey trip, and there's nothing happening. I'm killing my data here, trying to watch this. Finally, I get home, and second, third quarter, they're like, whatever. The fourth quarter, it came back to life. And when I say the fourth quarter, I mean the last 3 minutes of the game. That's where this game kind of came to be. So for me, there was no excitement for me. When you're watching a halftime show and you're like, I don't want this to end because I have to go back to watching the Super Bowl, that's not usually a good sign. So last 3 minutes kind of redeemed itself a little bit. But we're talking about this game a little bit differently. If there's a field goal, if this game goes to overtime, we may be talking about this a little bit differently. But as it stands right now, I'm with you guys. It didn't really crank it, especially as someone with no dog in the fight. Maybe if I'm a Rams fan, completely different story.
Yeah.
But I'm not buying it here. Now, let's take a quick look here. Quick prediction, bold prediction. Tara, Super Bowl, Arizona next season. Hey, 2 years ago, Tampa Bay hosted. They're in the Super Bowl. This year, the LA Rams hosted. They're in the Super Bowl. Do you have the Cardinals in the Super Bowl next year?
No. So sorry to the Cardinals.
Well, Tara, we're talking about Arizona, and your body language right now has me concerned.
She was like, hell no.
Arizona should be concerned. They should be concerned right now. No, and I actually think that the Rams are gonna return representing the NFC, and then I do think that the Bills will be the ones to I think they should have been the ones technically in the Super Bowl. So in my opinion, it's gonna be Bills and Rams and Josh Allen, since it's incredibly hard to run it back. So I think that the Bills winning it makes sense.
I like that.
You know what? And I'm right there. Major, what do you got here for your Super Bowl prediction? Sorry.
Yeah, I wanted to go with the Rams as well, but they have a lot of question marks. I have people who may retire, all this other stuff, if Odell's coming back or not, if Robert Wood, a lot of question marks over there. And they might be a little high from all this, we're having parades, we're having all kind of stuff going on out here right now. I think might have the Lakers, the Dodgers, and the Rams all have a Super Bowl celebration together. They're changing the Hollywood sign to like Rams Town or something like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So I don't think they're going to be as focused. So I'm going with the Bills, and the NFC looks a little shaky. I'm looking at the teams, and there's a lot of question marks. So I'm going to stick with my 49ers. Trey Lance is going to lead them to the Super Bowl, but I think the Bills is going to win 27-21.
I got to stop you right there. You're now not allowed to make predictions there when you're picking the 49ers and a Trey Lance team winning the Super Bowl. Who do you think he is? For me, I'm going to go with the Bills and the Packers here, with the caveat that Aaron Rodgers is returning to Green Bay. If Aaron Rodgers is not back, I'm taking, things seem a little bit good. They seem cordial. Aaron Rodgers has that beautiful flowing hair. He looks like a perfectly trustworthy guy right now. And I'm going to go in the odd event that he does not return to Green Bay. I'm going to say the Rams too. I like Rams would be my second choice beside the Packers if Aaron Rodgers does not come back. And I got the Bills winning the Super Bowl because I really want the Bills to win one. I really feel that they deserve one. And speaking of deserving, hey, we did our Dynasty Vipers charity playoff league where most of us entered our lineup each and every week. I'm not going to single anyone out, but hey, we donated a bunch of money to a member of the charity, our fantasy football community in a time of their need. And they are more than grateful for all the support that was shown for them here right now. They were kind of floored by, I think it was like $2,000 or something. I have to double check with Bob Gilchrist, but there was a lot of money raised for this family. With that being said, one of the perks here, we have all kinds of awards that we were handing out, all kinds of prizes. Listen, Dynasty Trade Calculator, they donated some subscriptions. DLF, Fantasy Points, Football Guys, Reception Perception, Under the Helmet, Chad Parsons, Dave Wright, RotoViz, Dynasty Nerds, 4 for 4, IDP guys. I mean, we got Viridian Global in here. The FF Pod shirts got in there. Trophy Smack donated a championship belt. And the big one here, which we are going to do a little bit of a draw right now, is for that invite into the Scott Fishbowl 12. Hey, we had 107 entrants this week, this year. 107. That is absolutely incredible. That is, I can't thank everyone enough for joining us for this contest here. I have entered everyone onto my wheel of randomness. And except for the 2 people who did not submit a lineup, I took their name out. And of course, in good faith, I removed my name. So we have 104 names here on this wheel. I'm going to pull this up, add it to there. Yes, I'm on day mode here when it comes to my computer. Yes, I've got the tabs. I can go F11 if that makes everyone feel a little bit better. There, we clean that up a little bit. Yeah, I got to see. It's too dark if I go dark mode on my computer. Anyway, hey, every name is on here right now. Huge wheel. Let's shuffle this. Pick a number, Tara. Give me a number.
Let's go with 12.
12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Completely random. Everyone shuffled up here. We have no idea how that's going to go. So let's spin that wheel. Round and round she goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. I was kind of hoping it would stop. Here we go. It looks like it's going to be the point after FF has got themselves an invite into the Scott Fishbowl 12 Invitational. I guess it's not really an invitational, but hey, congratulations at the point after FF. We will be getting in touch with you here very soon to let you know here. And hey, make sure you're watching this. Make sure you're tuning into the Dynasty Vipers Vipercast each and every week. We break down all kinds of content for you. New content daily on the Vipers Network. Stitcher, Apple, Podbean. I don't know. We're everywhere. You can't go anywhere and not find us right now. And of course, head over to fantasypoints.com. Enter that promo code Vipers22. Vipers22. Get yourself 10% off that subscription. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here. And when we return, it's going to be time to get into our first mock draft of the season, a dynasty startup with the rookies. So stay tuned. That's coming up here in just a second.